right, a little bit about myself. My name is Francisco Munoz Alvarez. I'm an Oracle ACE director since the year 2009, Oracle ACE since the year 2008. Have a few certifications from Oracle. At the moment, just doing all the autonomous and all the OCI once they were free. I recommend you, it's still time to do it. If not wrong, it's still up to the 12th of August to allow you to watch the training for free and book your certifications. I recommend you to just check if that's still valid or not. I am an early beta tester and adopter for many products from Oracle, especially for Oracle VM, Oracle databases since the version 7, and so on. Also, for IOC, I am the spokesperson for Latin America and Asia Pacific. I'm the president of APAC IOC, the umbrella user group for our Asia Pacific. Also the president for the Queensland and New South Wales states for Australian Oracle User Group, president of the Chilean Oracle User Group, and the New Zealand Oracle User Group. Have been winning a few awards during my career. The key ones are Oracle Excellence Awards and the Oracle Magazine Editor's Choice Awards winner, and have been presented over 400 sessions at 48 countries around the world during my career. Also, I recommend you to take a look on my book about Backup and Recovery Survival Guide. It was the first book talking about 12C, and also is the only book that I know that have a full dedicated chapter about logging and unlogging when you're coding. And also writing a couple of books at the moment. I will have a few surprises coming very soon. My blog is oraclenz.com or oraclenz.org or oraclenz.net. I also have my another one with WordPress that is a copy of my normal one. And why Oracle NZ? Because at the time I opened my blog, I was living in New Zealand. And now my email is alvarez@clouddb.solutions. And I am the founder and CEO of CloudDB. My Twitter handler, if you have any questions or you want to follow me, I always tweeting about free events, webinars, tutorials, a lot of things related to sharing of knowledge. I try to avoid most I can marketing and that kind of things. Again, my Twitter handle is FCOMunoz. A lot of people always ask, Francisco, where are you from? Just to make it that easy. I born in Chile, South America, grew up in Brazil, mature in the United States, in Charlotte, North Carolina. Then I moved to live for a few years in New Zealand, around 7 years, and now I'm just over 5 years living in Australia. Okay, as I mentioned, I don't like to talk too much about marketing. I will try to skip these slides about CloudDB very fast. Just let you know that CloudDB is a professional managed service company, like many others in the marketing. We have a global team all around the globe with many community leaders being part of our team. Our headquarters are in Brisbane, Australia. We have offices also in Sydney, Perth, Auckland in New Zealand, and we are opening the San Francisco one. We also have a few other products that we work with. We are launching very soon some SaaS products called Como. It's a community and event management system, very similar to the ones that Quest uses, the other companies use it, but have a very good twists. It's a mix of community management, membership management, marketing, sponsorship, events, call for papers, also a little bit of Facebook included mixes, kind of community. It's a very cool product that's coming very soon. And also we have a CloudDB AF automation framework, that is automation framework for databases that basically allow you to collect metrics, automatically analyze and react the way that you need. And these is products that basically we allow us to learn about the topics we are going to be talking today. Okay, what we are going to be talking? All right, we'll be talking about what's Git and why you should be using. We'll be talking about Discovery Visual Basic Visual Builder Studio, and we'll be talking how to manage code with SQL Developer and Visual Builder Studio. Okay, there are little changes that are happening since this week. Oracle have a product called Oracle Developer Cloud Services. It's basically their GitHub kind of version with an asteroids on Oracle Cloud. Then they also have the Visual Builder product that allow you to build web applications and mobile applications in a very simple way. Oracle decided now to fusion both products in one, and since this week, it's now called Oracle Visual Builder Studio. That's basically the new product that came out, and the name is changed. We will take a look on how they look and feel in a moment. But let's start talking about Git. Git basically is a version control system that's free, and you can basically download from the internet on git-scm.com. If you go to the website, you can find easily documentation. You have a lot of tutorial videos that are very useful. You have access in documentation also to download a free book, the Pro Git book from Apress. And you have tons of information right there. From there, you can download Git and install it, as per example, in your own machine, your own laptop, and start playing with Git itself. The concept of version control system basically started initially with a central version control, or let's say a SVN. And you have in that product like a VCS server. Basically, you had a server with a version control system that's dedicated, and now the computers, let's say your laptops, development team, connect to that central server repository, and you collect all the data from there. The main issue is all the code, all the changes, everything was only stored in a central server. That causing a few issues too, that in case you lose your central server, all the team is in trouble. You need to, hopefully you have backups, you can restore, but all code, everything the developers are doing, all the advances, everything is only in one place. Git came with a new concept, the concept of a distributed version control system. They decide, why keep all the information only one server? Why we don't distribute out across all the nodes? Think a little bit about blockchain, and you will have the kind of same concept. But this with the Git, basically, if I have 3 developers working, the 3 developers will have a Git repository on their machines, and they will be a clone of each other. And basically, our code is basically saved on all the machines, and then when you finish do the changes, you can push your changes to the other nodes, and also you can pull the changes done from the other nodes to your own machine. You keep everything on sync. And that's the concept they started making. That means now if one of the servers go down, nothing is lost. All you need to do is just connect to one of the Git repositories, clone the information, and you have a new copy of the repository on that machine. And that can be done. One of the nodes can be also a cloud repository that can be accessed, shared, and everybody can see it, like GitHub of now Oracle Visual Builder Studio. And again, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to ask, please feel free to do it during the session. I will review the chat with all the questions at the end of the presentation, and then I can go through. You can write your questions at any given time, and that's not a problem. And again, the website of Git, you can find tons of information that's very, very interesting. How that happened, how that everything work. Basically, when you install Git, you have your working directory. That's basically will be the orange mark right there, you can see. That's where all your files are. all your code. When you do a change to any of the files, they are monitored by your Git or be managed by your Git for version control. That change it, that file is get a mark, and they go to a staging area saying that that file had changes. Then you can review, you can do all your changes, you can start working, finish all the changes you want to do to that code. Let's see, as per example, fix a bug, and bug X, I did the changes in the code to fix the bug X that was happening. Is in the staging area, I do my testing, I'm sure that everything now works fine. And at the moment that I'm sure that everything is ready to go, then I will do a commit. And when you do a commit, generally you also put a text saying what that commit is about. Then I will say commit and say bug X. Now that change will be available on my Git directory, on my repository, and then I can push to the other repositories, to the other developers to have that copy, and so on. But that's the way it kind of work. Imagine as when you do an update, an insert, or delete a DML transaction in a database, and it's only in your working directory, in your staging area, that change, but will not move you to everyone to see and be in the repository after you do the commit. It's a very similar concept. We have a few commands when working with Git. When we install, one example, is very simple, just run the RPM and it's done. But if you want to check if the Git is really installed in your machine, you can do git-version. And they will show you the version information of the Git that show that that's working properly. I recommend you, when you're installing a Git, to also set your username, basically with your name, that I will do git config-global user.name and put your name, and also set up your user email. Note that two variables will not makely say that, all right, that will send me emails, notifications, or nothing like that. That's only to identify who is doing the change. In your machine, when you do in your repository, when you do changes now, any changes you do, they will notify that was done by the username, Francisco Munoz Alvarez, and his email is alvarez@clouddb.com.au. That means when I push to the other repositories, they will also see that information that the change to the bug X was done by Francisco Munoz Alvarez, and this is his email in case you need to contact him. That's a good way to keep everybody know what the change was about and who did the change and how I can contact. If I want to check all the variables of my current Git installation, I do git config-list. If I want initialize install the Git, basically I do git init, and they will enable the Git in the folder that I have all my code. Let's see, I installed the Git, but now I am in the create a new folder, copy over there all my code to that folder structure that I just created, and I want to start monitoring with Git all the code where in that folder. I will do git init, and they will activate Git on that environment. You're going to see that when git init is enabled, if you do a ls.git, you're going to see that now you have a file .git in that folder. Then they show that's being managed by Git. If we want to uninstall Git on that folder to stop managing that files, simple as rm-rf.git, and they will eliminate the .git and stop. I want to clone my Git repository. All I need to do, I have a new machine, I have a Git installed. I want to bring now all the repository from other machine to my machine to start working as a new employee. One example, I will do git clone, and then I put URL and where to clone. As per example, git clone, the path where the repository is, and That's the position that I am now. They will clone that Git repository to where I am located at the moment. To know information about what's the remote Git repositories you are connected, you do git remote -v, or you do, and you want to know all the branches you have in your Git repository local, you do git branch -a, and you will see all the local branches. Think also the version management and Git as a tree itself. And that tree can have many branches. You have your main repository, that's the center of the tree, but that repository can have many different branches. Each branch can be a new functionality, a bug, or something else. That way, I can work on that branches until the things are properly, and when it's all working, then I can then push from the branch to the main repository that I'm working with. That way, keep all the code in our organization very well organized and clean. That's very important. Another basic commands that you can use it with Git is git help config or git config -help. That also will show all the helps about a specific command. In this case, if you just put git help, they will show all the help. If you put git help config, they will show me the help information for the config command. And you can put git help to list, for example, clone, and they will show all information about clone. Git status, they will show the status of your current version control files, showing if any files change, any files need to be pushed, and all the information of the current status of your version control system. Also, I can tell Git to ignore some files on my environment. Let's see, I have logs. I don't want Git to also manage version control on the log files. I can do touch.gitignore to create a file called gitignore. And then in the gitignore, I can add the files that I don't want it to be managed. I can even put start.log, that basically all files with not the extension.log will be ignored, and things like that I can use too. I can use the git diff to see what changes happen between all my branches that they need to be pushed to my local repository and so on. I can see differences that happens. I can add new files to be managed by Git. Let's see, I just created a new file .sql. That's a new file that I just created and working with. They were not previously managed by Git. I can go do the command git add new file.sql, and now that file is added to be managed by Git. I can also read, oh, you know what? New file was not supposed to be mentioned for Git. That was a mistake. I can do git reset and the name of the file, in this case, new file.sql, and automatically they will remove from managing the version control for that file. But look, Francisco, now I just added hundreds or dozens of new files that I want bringing from other teams or something that we're working with in other side. I need to add one by one. Now I can do git add -A. He will add all the new files that the system detect that you added. Oh, I was a mistake. Now I want to remove all the ones that I just added in bulk, or just do the command git reset, and they will reset the bulk add that was done. When I do commit, basically I will do a git commit -m for message, and then I will add the message. It's always very important to add a message. That message will be saved with that change that you have done, and that need to be something related, explaining to everyone what that change is about. Oh, there's a fix of bug X, and I can let people know that's a new fix. Or are there new codes for image control? That means you need to add a message that make clear to everyone in the team what that change was about. That make easy to understand and identify, oh, that's what he did. Okay, good. You can also check the log of Git, do the command git.log. You can pull all the changes for the other repositories, other If you have a team of developers working together and you have 10 people, we will have your repository, your local repository, and then you have 9 remote repositories from the other team members. When you do a Git pull origin to master, basically you pulling all the changes done by the other 9 team members on their repositories, if they were commit and save, to update your environment. And then how you can do a push from all your changes done by yourself to everybody else. That way you can ensure that the changes have been updated. Sometimes other people forget to do the push and they only do their own changes. That means if you want to keep have the last updates that what they have done, your pool will keep that updated. That's why always important, in my opinion, to do always a pull and then do a push of the changes done. A little bit of misconception that the people have all the time is, okay, just checking the time, okay, very good. The people confuse a lot Git and GitHub. Let's talk just very shortly about that. Just to start, Git is a revision control system, a tool to manage your source code history, and Git is a tool, that's all. GitHub is a hosting services for Git repositories, and GitHub is the services for projects that use Git. Basically, Git is the tool itself, but then someone decided to, okay, let's give a little bit more functionality for Git and make it that even cooler a little bit more. That's how GitHub started, and that's what GitHub is. GitHub is using Git and managing Git repositories. That's basically what it is at the end. And the same now Oracle, with the previous Oracle Developer Cloud Services and now called Oracle Visual Builder Studio is the same functionality. It's kind of GitHub, but they use Git and they manage Git and much more. Okay, let's take a little bit more information about Git. Git is installed locally. GitHub is hosted in the cloud. Also, you can have a GitHub UI, desktop UI if you want it. Git was first released in 2005. GitHub was a company launched in 2008. Git is open source, maintained by the Linux Foundation. GitHub was purchased by Microsoft back in 2018. Git is focused on version control and code sharing. GitHub focuses on central source code hosting. Git is primarily a command line tool, and you can use a lot of UIs without no issues. GitHub administered through the web, an UI interface. Git provide a desktop interface named Git GUI. GitHub have the desktop interface named GitHub Desktop. Of course, you have the free and version options too. Git no user management features. GitHub have built-in user management as a plus. Git have minimal external tool configuration features. GitHub have active marketplace for tool integration. Git competes with Mercurial, Subversion, IBM, Rational Team Concerts, and ClearCase. GitHub competes more with Atlassian Bitbucket and GitLab itself. As I mentioned before, Git's an open source license. When GitHub, you have the free tier and, of course, the paid tiers to have used to all the goodies. Now that we spoke a little bit about Git itself, let's talk about how to create a project using Visual Builder Studio. Remember, Visual Builder Studio is now the fusion of Oracle Developer Cloud Services and Visual Builder itself that Oracle just this week released as one new product called Visual Builder Studio. Just in case to avoid any possible issues, I recorded without sound the steps of the demo because Murphy Law, most of the time you have issues with the internet or something like that, then I just decided to record the image as a plan B. Let's talk a little bit about Visual Builder Studio. So we have tons of benefits. You'll be able to plan and manage issue tracking, team management, agile dashboard, of course, version control, everything with regards to version management, code review, track changes. You can build in the delivery. You integrate it with your Oracle Cloud. that you can deploy machines as you need it. You can manage activity stream, week, web dashboards, and of course, you can manage it and work with anything with PL SQL, Oracle Apex, and more. You can also connect with autonomous databases. It's not a problem at all. All right, now it's time of the demo and show how to deploy a repository for Git using Visual Builder Studio. As again, aka Oracle Developer Cloud Services in the past. Let's take a look. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is basically check that, that's one example of one of the repositories I have. I will create a new repository for this demo. Let's call it demo. This will be basically my demo project. Initially, of course, the first project will be private. I have many options. I will go with empty project to start. And then I can use different wiki markups. I will use a Confluence. That's the one that I like more. And that's my personal preference. Then we'll put finish. And then Oracle will start to create the new project environment, create the agile, the code repository, everything that I need to work with Visual Builder Studio. They will generate the provision of this new project. Takes around 30 to 40 seconds. It's very fast, as you can see, and it's going to be released right now. Good, I have the new project, and now what they're going to do is going to create the Git repository over there. Let's create the Git repository. Will be demoed, same as the project. Demo Git repository. I can create different initial contents, but I'm going to go with an empty repository for this demo. In a few seconds, I have all done, and then I have all the commands that I can do it to clone and start installing the environment that I need. I can do using SSH or HTTPS. You can see the both options right there. And now let's go and create an environment on my local repository of Git on my own laptop and connect that with this Git repository that I just created on the Oracle Visual Builder Studio. That's done. I already have my password saved before, then that's why it didn't ask my password, but in your case, they will ask the password. That is now a demo.git. We'll create a demo directory. I was just going to move to where my code is. You can see all my code I'm developing over there. Now I will copy everything to where my Git repository on my local machine is. There we go. And I move over there. I can see my files are now without no issues. I don't need to create a file readme.md at the moment. What I'm going to do now, I will tell Git to manage all the files that I just copied over there. Done. And now I will do I will just check the status first. You can see that showing all the files that in my folder that I'm in right now. Now is showing that was added, modified, but was not committed. Now I'm going to commit. Doing the git commit command, I will do the name of the initial commit just to tell that starting. And you can see they add committed in create mode all the files that I have over there. Now I'm going to push all the new added files on my local repository to the master, all my other repositories in the I have connecting with. That's the one we just created in the Oracle Visual Builder Studio. The status is showing that nothing to commit. Work tree is clean. Now, if I go and refresh my Git repository on the Oracle Visual Builder Studio, I will see that I did a commit. You can see the activities right there. And if I connect to my demo.git repository, I can see now all my files over there with the information that was initial Git and my username, that's Francisco Munoz Alvarez, the person that did the change. That's basically you can see. And now if you take a look on everything that we have, well, I will talk about that later, or I'm talking about it right now, just trying to remember. Yeah, I'm moving to my Cloud BAF, one of the other projects I have, just to show you a little bit more. I can have multiple Git repositories. I can see always all the changes, all the activities that happen in the environment. I can see all the files. I can compare, see the logs, the difference, change by change, what's happened. I can see any merge requests. I can work with Maven. I can work with Docker. I have a small Docker integration to create a database. I can do builds. I can work with release. I can work with all the builds, artifact repositories. I can work in different environments. You can have developer, test, QA, so on. I can manage issues that I can assign to the team members. Everybody can work, can comment, can see if it's resolved or not. I can create boards like Trello just to move the cards across, or what's pending, what's being worked, and what's completed, for example. You can easily see the basic list way, or you can see in a board image that more easy like that you can take that card and move it to the side when to do, to in progress, and assign it. It's very cool. It's very nice. You can also create your own wiki. In this case, the example is now created. You can have the snippets. And when you come to the page administration, you can see and work with properties, announcements, tags, issue tracking, the repositories, all your branches, webhooks, builds, and also you can export and import repository data. You can see that's a very cool tool, and it's very simple to create your own project, and very simple to basically then start working with a Git repository and collaborate with all team members. Very, very simple, very easy. Okay. Now the other part that we are here to see is also how to integrate SQL Developer and Git. You can manage a code inside SQL Developer, connecting it with a Git repository. You can have your local Git. You can use a Git repository like the one we are playing right now with Visual Builder Studio. What you're going to do, you're going to connect your SQL Developer to your Git repository in the Visual Builder Studio. And then when we do that, they will create a local repository inside SQL Developer. And then we can save code, we can do changes right there. We can then commit in that repository using SQL Developer tool itself, and also push to to our Visual Builder Studio and so on. We can play around basically. Instead you have a local branch in your laptop that you install Git, have your code, you can let SQL Developer manage all that and create his own local repository inside SQL Developer and help you to make everything more easy. Let's take a look. All right, as you can see, I go to the repository that I just created, demo Git, creating clone the HTTPS link. Then I go to SQL Developer. You can see I have many connections. My connections are working, but the way we are going to make the things work, we go to Teams in the tab Connect to Git. Then we click Next. We can create a name of the remote repository. In this case, will be Orange1. Then we are paste the repository URL we just copy. The username will populate automatically. We will enter the password of my user in the Oracle Visual Builder Studio. Then we will click Next. You can see that he can see the remote branch call master inside the Oracle Visual Builder Studio. You can see the destination where inside SQL Developer they will be creating my local repository. I changed the name to Demo FCO. You can see it will be inside SQL Developer in the folder called My Work. It will create a new folder called demo FCO, you can see the location of my repository, the URL, the destination inside my work, the name of my local repository of the clone, and everything's ready. Now, if I come to files, I can go to SQL Developer, I can go to my work, and now I can find there a folder called Demo Francisco, and I can see all my code that was in the Visual Builder Studio that we pushed there, now is also inside the SQL Developer. Now let's see, I will open one of the files that I just created for a test, new file, .sql. Let us just do a cleanup right here and remove some of the things that I don't need it. It's just a file with a simple, some text inside just for the exam. Now all I need to do is save it inside my repository in that folder that is being managed for Git and SQL Developer now. Saving the new file.sql in my work, Demo Francisco, and save is going to be saved. There we go. Now I can go to my folder right there, right click, versioning. Oops, let me just, oops, sorry, apologize for that. I just wanted to pause the video 1 second, and in the end, I got too excited that I missed that one. Let me just move it right there again to that option, and there we go. When you click in the SQL Developer and go to the versioning, you can see all the options and commands you can use. You can add files. That's what we are going to do right now and take a look. Add to the version control. We can, because remember, we just copy that file inside my version control folder. Now we need to add to the Git to manage that file. Then we need to do a commit. Then we will do a push. Oh, here you can see all the commands. You can add one file, you can add all new files, you can do a commit of one file, you can do commit of all changes that was happening, you can do a checkout, you can do a merge, you can do a rebase, you can create a new branch, you can create a tag, commit history, stat changes, commit graph, you can reset, revert a commit if you need it, you can fetch, pull, and push. And you can see all the pending changes too. Let's continue. That now we're going to add to the Git repository the file that we just copied inside of Demo Francisco. You can see the new file right there. I'm sorry, I moved to the commit. We already did that one. Sorry, I moved it too far in the video. Now we're doing the commit, and we added the text information right there. That was add new file. Now we're going to do a push. The push, we have a little wizard. Then we have already information for the URL. I have the password saved over there. I click next. I can see we're pulling from my local master for the remote master. You can see the information over there. We can finish and done. The Git push is happening, is done, completed. Now we can go to the Visual Builder Studio and we can check if the new file that we push is there. Let's go to the Git. All right, there you can see new file is over there. And you can see the information that was pushed by Francisco Munoz over 18. New file commit was the message that we put over there. And you can see the details inside the file, that test file by Francisco Munoz Alvarez. That's how easy you can do all this work with Git in SQL Developer. Now I have the other repository in my laptop as a simulating that is another user. I can just connect to do a Git pull, and they will basically synchronize with all the changes done for everybody else. And I will see now after that on my local repository that the new file.sql will show up right there, and I can see in the details that was done by Francisco Munoz Alvarez. His message on that change that was done was new file commit, and I have all the information I need. You can see how easy it is to do all that. All right, now if you connect to docsoracle.com, you can find on the past section the Visual Builder tutorials for the Oracle Visual Builder Studio. You have many learning paths that will show you how to create web applications using Visual Builder Studio, how to work with all the Git and so on. You have a set of tutorials that will basically teach you for free, step by step, how to work with the Oracle Visual Builder Studio. Apologies that I still changing my mind to change the Oracle Developer Cloud Service to be called Oracle Visual Builder Studio. That's still a little bit, my brain's still fighting with myself, but that's not a problem. But here is the page. You have all the tutorials and information. Next, you have the documentation of the Oracle Visual Builder Studio. You have tons of documentations over there that will help you to also understand and learn more, learn about how to do DevOps with this tool and so on. Also, if you go to the Git, to the downloads GUIs, you will see your GUI clients, your user interface options that you have that you can use in a desktop. You can do for check which ones are available for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, Android, iOS, and you'll have many options that will be free to use and many options that will be paid. Of course, the ones that give you more for the buck, you get more things, of course. They will need to pay for it. Some resource pages. You have the Shy blog and Oracle. They have many tutorials, some of them like how to work with SQL Developer, and some cool ones that I really recommend you to look at his blog. And that's the link for the Oracle Visual Builder tutorials, Oracle Visual Builder documentation inside Oracle Cloud. Also a few other videos in the right with regards with Git. There are Git tutorials that I really recommend you to watch. Saying that, thank you so much for your time.